Hey guys, and welcome back. And in today's video, I had a really weird or normal idea. I have been a constant controller player for 7 years. I have always played controller on Rainbow Six, and always played controller on all the games. Like, there was not a single game I played keyboard and mouse on. But I have recently switched over to keyboard and mouse because a few months ago, I'd gotten my first PC. If you all know this, if you all have watched my past streams, you'll know that I have gotten a new PC. But I'm going to give you some thoughts and recommendations from being a constant controller player for over 8 years to switching over to keyboard and mouse. And I didn't just do it for like a day. I've been doing it for about 3 weeks now. So I gave y'all almost a month on keyboard and mouse. Test it, and I will not be going back to controller, and I will give you my thoughts on why. So the main reason most people play on controller is because the recoil control is way easier to control. Like, I'll connect my controller right now and show you what recoil looks like on it, and then show you how it looks on my PC. So it'll take a second for it to load because it has to reconnect. I'm moving my joystick, so yep, there we go. Now we're on controller. Also, on PC, when you use controller, everything's delayed, especially when it's like a Bluetooth controller. So I'll show you what the recoil pattern looks like. So we'll do it from like the yellow line, I think. See, like that, that's delayed. That's not terrible, but it's definitely not good. My Steam opens if I hit the home button. But, so it's okay, it's not great. But I think it's better than me on keyboard and mouse, and then keyboard and mouse. Even if it might look better, I was pulling down on that a lot. And this is not a very good representation of it, because this is me on controller. I haven't been on controller in forever, and then this is me being on keyboard, and they're still both pretty bad. This is the best one I've gotten today on Thermite's AR on keyboard and mouse, but that's the main thing. So number one thing is that recoil control is a lot more difficult, and the reason of that is that on keyboard and mouse you have to move the mouse instead of a joystick. So as you're doing it, you're dragging the mouse backward. So that's why it's more difficult on PC. But if you can get that down, it feels a lot easier to control recoil once you get that down. Like, the reason I didn't play keyboard and mouse, one reason is that it was too difficult for like a game like Fortnite or anything, because there's like so many extra buttons and stuff. But then also the recoil and all that. Like, I originally came back to Rainbow Six planning on being a keyboard and mouse player since I had switched over to PC, but as I realized, the recoil, if you don't drag anywhere, it just doesn't work. So I've just learned to control it better. And also, one thing that I've learned to do is aim at the body, so you can use the recoil of it going up to hit the head or do body damage. But that's the first thing. The second thing is that DMRs are broken on keyboard and mouse. So I'll show you that. I'll go to a DMR op. We'll just choose Lion because I like his DMR, the 417. I have never really liked DMRs on console because I didn't like them. One reason was the kickback was too far. Some were like the fire rate wasn't good enough. But I can click this a lot faster than I click my controller trigger. Also, if I pull down with it, there's 0 recoil with DMRs. So like if I'm pulling down, there's literally 0 recoil. That one I pulled down a little bit too far. But you see and understand that there's barely any recoil when you do that. And then of course they're very accurate. That's the whole thing. And I'll show you my attachments I have on this. I recommend, oh, not the Scooby-Doo. I recommend on most DMRs you choose these sights. You can choose this one. I recommend this one. I'll show you what this one looks like. But also I recommend the suppressor because on PC, on controller, I'm not totally sure. I think I still chose the suppressor, maybe muzzle brake, because muzzle brake reduces the kick of the gun when that's what some controllers use. But the suppressor is really good on PC because there's 0 recoil, that it's really easy to control. And then I go with the vertical grip. On everything. Then for your secondary online, I just go with the P9, but that's not really anything about this video. If y'all want a video on what ops I use, I will gladly. See, this is the second one. In my opinion, it's harder to use. Also, there's too many lines. It's not near as useful in my opinion. But that's second tip. DMRs are overpowered on PC. Third thing, you have way more custom control over your stuff, and it's way more comfortable. The first week, I thought they were so uncomfortable. Like, it was not comfortable having to do everything, like reaching across my keyboard and stuff. I thought it was terrible. But if you have a mouse with buttons on the side, you can reset. I have mine for my second, like my grenades and stuff, and my first one for my reload. But you really can customize it for the full extent. Now, playing on controller is actually harder for me than playing on keyboard and mouse, which I obviously am not a great keyboard and mouse player, but it has definitely improved in my opinion compared to controller. And also, see, look, literally 0 recoil, and that was me pulling down on it. See, without pulling down, there's still barely any recoil. But when you shoot that fast, it does eventually go up. And I got my first ace on keyboard and mouse with Dokebee's DMR the other day. But DMRs are overpowered. Recoil controls way easier, or can be way easier. But for guns like the SMG-12, it is a lot harder. But if you just do burst fires, it should be fine. I never really used the SMG-12. I just use it if I need. But that's one tip. DMRs are really good. And my third and final tip, before I tell you which one I like more, is that on keyboard and mouse, you really are going against better competition. Because keyboard and mouse, as always, has a big advantage over controller. And there's 3 reasons for it. First reason, recoil control. Recoil control, once it's learned, is way easier on keyboard and mouse. So you don't have to use 2 joysticks. You can just use one arm. PC players have about 20 to like 50 muscles in their arm to control their recoil instead of their thumbs. So that is one plus. But on other things is that your comfortability is way easier. Also, we can do extra things that controllers can't, like this. Y'all can't hold leans. Y'all can't. It's really hard for you all to quick peek too. So that's one pro. And the final tip that I have on why keyboard and mouse has always had advantages over is that the game is always released on PC before console. That's not really exactly for like the player or like the keyboard and mouse aspect, but that's just the PC platform. The PC platform, the games release on them quicker, so then we get to be on it longer than everybody else, so we get practice before. So those are 3 things. And just a bonus thing, at professional contests, they do have PCs that they play on. So it's just kind of goes with it, and then PCs can also be spec'd out to honestly just be better than consoles. Like, just downright better. But then there's also some pros to console. Your recoil is easier to do overall. Like, first thing, it's easy to do. But eventually, if you get the hang of keyboard and mouse, all recoil's easy. But obviously, I haven't been playing long enough to get that. But then, if you play on console, it's easier to use right off the bat. Overall, eventually keyboard becomes easier. It becomes secondhand memory the more you play and play. And that's kind of for everything. But if you start playing controller at a young age, I really, 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 really only recommend switching over to keyboard and mouse if you're on PC. If you're on console, stick to the controllers, because there are 2 reasons. First, it'll run best on controller. You'll have no lag. That's why I switched over to keyboard and mouse. I was having lag. Like, it wasn't connecting. Or my controller would disconnect, or my controller would mess up, or the lag and it felt like it was always disconnected. It was always delayed. But on keyboard and mouse is never delayed, because it's the first thing. Because it's meant to be used on PC. Same thing on controller. On console, controllers are never delayed. Unless it's like a bad controller, or it's like dead, or you have an actual problem with the controller, is because that controller comes with the console. The keyboard and mouse comes with the PC. So if you try to use, and some are really high quality, and they will work very well, but there's a 0% chance or very low chance that your controller will be delayed and start messing up. Your monitor and TV might, but that's not your controller's fault. But the keyboard and mouse has a way higher thing, because you have to plug it in. If it's a cheap thing, it could be delayed. It could have messed up. If it's an expensive keyboard and mouse, it could work well. But PlayStation and Sony, so Xbox and Sony, so Microsoft and Sony, have not made keyboard and mouse for their console. Like, here's one example. This is a wired webcam made for PlayStation. This is what I used to use when I played on PlayStation. It is made for PlayStation. It is made for being used on it. And it doesn't work on my PC. But since it is made for it, we are 1000% sure that product does work. We're so sure that product's gonna work on your console. But if you try to go over with something like an off-brand keyboard and mouse on certain games, they won't work. And then also, that's a fun thing, only certain games allow keyboard and mouse. There's like Fortnite, there's Gear 5, there's Halo Infinite. Those are some Xbox things. But there are also games on PlayStation like Fortnite, there's Call of Duty, there's other games that work. But there is a way larger variety, because every game on PC works on keyboard and mouse. But not all work on controller. So it's the exact same thing. But controller is... You don't see as many professional controller players, unless there's like controller players like Jinxie or Stompin'. Out of the hand couple, there are maybe 15 actual pros, like Mingo, pretty sure he plays on controller. But there's some like actually really good ones. Like Alicia used to play, but now she switched over to keyboard and mouse. But like, there are some really good controller players. But the ratio still stands that there are more good PC players than there are console players in professional pools. So it just shows that keyboard and mouse has an advantage over controller. And now for my rating of both, I've loved controller. I was playing on the PS3, I was playing on the PS4, the PS5. Like I was a long-time PlayStation lover. I literally broke my first PlayStation controller. Or I literally used it so much, like the buttons weren't working anymore, and like the joysticks were broken. I was on that game 24/7, and that game was Modern Warfare 2019. And I still have Call of Duty very close to my heart. I love that game, but it is now just drove itself right into the dirt. After Modern Warfare 2, it has gone downhill, and it is not worth your money anymore, sadly. But Rainbow Six has literally never gone downhill. This game is literally 9 years old. And this is why I hate DLCs. This is why I hate what Call of Duty does. They come out with a different game every single time. This one, you literally buy this game once, and it's yours forever. Like, it just has updates. And it's like, it's so good. I love this game. This is my favorite game in the world. And it has been for like the past year and a half. And I'm still hard stuck copper. But that does not affect my opinion. I know a lot about Rainbow Six. I am a support op, and I have a very high R6 IQ. So I definitely am someone to listen to. Being in consoles and then switching to PC, I can safely say PC is definitely a bigger step up. And I recommend you switch to keyboard and mouse if you're on PC. If you're on console, stick to controller, get really good there, then when you move to PC, switch. But if you get really, really good on controller, just stay on a console. Don't try to switch to a PC because it's delayed, and that's what a lot of people, that's what I didn't like my PC for a long time because my sorry about that. My controller never worked. It was always like lagged out or delayed, so I didn't play my PC near as much. But the more you play and you learn that keyboard and mouse is really just the best way to play any game, you'll just understand it and get used to it. And you can see how fluent I move and stuff. Like I've been practicing in the firing range for a lot of time. But that is my review. I recommend keyboard and mouse if you're on PC. I recommend controller if you're on console. It's that simple. In my opinion, of which one plays better and which one's more competitive, keyboard and mouse has always been more competitive. Doesn't matter what game, it's always been more competitive. Except for certain games, like Call of Duty Warzone, that have a controller advantage, like aimbot. Or aim assist, if you want to lay it lightly. But, in my opinion, if you can play keyboard and mouse, play it. If you can play controller, play it. It's literally up to you. And if you don't know, because now everybody makes this generation not be about it, video games are for fun. They're not meant to be played professional. That is a bonus if you want to go that far, but it's meant for fun. I have fun every single round because I'm experimenting with a new thing. So, if you want to play on PC and play on keyboard and mouse, awesome. If you want to play on controller, awesome. But it is completely up to you. It is your personal thoughts and your personal comfortability. I personally like keyboard and mouse more because I've played with it more now on Rainbow Six. But I have also put over 500 hours into this game. So I don't know if you should be really expecting me to be so one-sided. But I also have played other games on keyboard and mouse. And I know this is a really long outro, but overall, it is completely up to you. I personally like keyboard and mouse. Some people like controller. I love controller, but I personally like keyboard and mouse now. But it is completely up to you, and I recommend what you want, and I can't argue with anybody's choices. So, until next time, I see you, and be better at Rainbow Six. play more. If you get more hours than I do, I have 179 hours just on PC. I have over 400 hours on console. So just practice. Go in the shooting range before every rank match, get a rank stack, have fun, have fun. It's a video game. Don't cuss people out of it. And when Siege X comes, it's going to be free. There's going to be a lot more younger kids on it. There's going to be a lot more people that couldn't afford it in the first place. So just be relaxed. There's going to be anti-cheat updates. There's not going to be any cheaters anymore. It's purely going to be somebody who might be better than you. So don't worry about it. Siege X is going to take care of all of your worries, okay? Alright, see you guys.